Okay, hey everybody, welcome to this evening's stream. You might notice there's a timer up at the top. So if you've been watching the itch.io page, learning, sort of waiting for the start of the stream and the announcement, you've now got another timer to sort of watch for the next 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes time, we'll be announcing what the theme is for this weekend's game jam. So if you sort of find yourself here and you don't really know what's going on, basically this weekend we're running our first Crayta game jam. It's our summer jam. So what we're going to do is we're going to say in 15 minutes we'll announce the theme, but before then we're going to have a chat with Maggie. I think Sean's around in the background perhaps as well. But what we're going to do is just going to talk through some of the details, what the sort of things we're expecting to see, and kind of the process after the game jam has finished. So Maggie, you're there somewhere?
Yeah, here I am.
Cool. Okay, so I think what we'll do is say, so basically, this is the first game jam that we're going to be running, and hopefully this is just something we'll do a lot more of in the future. So it'd be amazing to see plenty of support for it going over this course of this weekend, and we're obviously really excited to see the sorts of things that the community are going to come out with. Given the theme, I think the theme is going to be quite fun, quite exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what people do with the theme. So if you wanted to go and sort of find out more now on screen, if I just switch the screen here, you should see our page. So if someone could put the itch.io link into chat now, I don't know if you have that handy, Maggie.
I've got that. One sec.
Cool. So you can join over here. And am I right in thinking people have to join through here to be sort of eligible for the prizes and such things?
So that we know they've submitted, yes.
Cool.
You still have to make the submission via itch, and the deadline will be Monday, the 24th of August at 8 a.m. BST. So I think that's about midnight Sunday for people in the US.
Right. Okay. So they've sort of got the weekend to get on with this. Yeah. So just to reiterate that point, if you are planning to join the game jam properly, and you are going to be building a game based off of the theme over the course of this weekend, then do make sure you head over to this page. So the link should be in the chat now. Yes, if you jump onto that link and make sure you do sign up, so we obviously then we can tell who's specifically entered the game jam. And it isn't just a game you've made along the weekend. It'd be quite impressed to see if someone could make a game on point on following the theme this weekend, having not known anything about the game jam. That'd be that would be quite interesting. Okay, so basically, one of the things we want to try and encourage this weekend is for people to try and team up as much as possible. So obviously, it's a shorter time frame for which people have got to do the development. Obviously, the whole point of a game jam is it's sort of a short, forced time frame for lots of different reasons. But basically, yeah, so lots of team and collaboration work this weekend. Maggie, do you want to maybe pop through a couple of different ways people can collaborate or group up?
Yeah, we've got voice chat channels on Discord actually if people fancy teaming up and using them over the weekend. Or you could join on the forum if you're looking out for people now. Or you could pop into chat now and say, hey, looking for other creators.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite fun actually to see plenty of chat going on this stream and see if people can join up. But yeah, so as Maggie mentioned, we've got our Discord channel, and if you're not already on the Discord channel and you're sort of following Crayta along, especially on these streams, or if you're someone who's played Crayta a fair bit, I'd highly recommend joining the Discord. I think that's the place where probably the most active. We do a lot of our sort of community engagement happens through Discord, so definitely a good place to go and join up. So the link should be there, Maggie. Yep, you're already on it. So that's discord.gg/Crayta. We have actually got a specific channel on there called looking for creators and looking for players. So I think there'll be two channels that will be really useful over the course of this weekend. So if you're an environment artist that's looking for a coder, or vice versa, you could use the creators channel. Or if you're someone who's looking for some feedback on your game, and I think that's something that, we've got a video coming at the end of the stream with a few tips and tricks from Sean. It's a really cool little video, so definitely make sure you stick around to the end of the stream to check that out. But part of that is obviously one of the big things that you should do over the course of a game jam is plenty of feedback and plenty of play testing. So looking for players is a great channel to go and find people who might want to play your game, and in sort of response, you might find some extra games to go and play as well. So massive community effort, and I think Discord is definitely the best place to sort of get on board with that sort of thing. Cool. So what else have we got going on over the course of this weekend? There's the Medium blog. So Maggie, do you want to just describe a bit more about what's happening over on Medium?
Yeah, so if you head to medium.com/Crayta, our UI UX designer Sean Wall will be running a live vlog throughout the weekend with regular updates and game jam resources.
Cool. So yeah, I think that'll be quite a fun way to engage. So if you're not able to perhaps take part this weekend, you just want to kind of keep track of the sort of stuff that's going on over the course of this game jam, then that'll be a really useful place to keep track of that sort of stuff. And again, if we could get a link maybe to sort of the Medium into chat now.
Yeah, on it.
That'd be good. Yeah, if ever, I guess if you're planning to join along, all these things getting bookmarked into your browser would be pretty good. Okay. So how is everybody? Is everybody excited? It'd be nice to see some sort of excited emojis in chat. Let us know what you think. Any guesses as well? Actually, be quite nice to see what people think about the theme might be. See if anyone can get anywhere close. We're just looking at just under 10 minutes now until we're going to announce that. So yeah, let's get some chat going. Let's get plenty of suggestions going along in chat. So what else have we got here? So we've mentioned about submissions. Obviously, the submission process might take some time. So, for example, if you wanted to get game card images up and certain UI images up into the sort of Crayta companion site to be used in game, it's definitely worth trying to get things wrapped up before the end and not get things sort of being updated too close to the deadline. Maggie, have you got anything else you wanted to add around submissions and perhaps maybe go into sort of the way that the voting is going to work?
Yeah, so your games have to be entered and published before the deadline, and you've also got to submit via itch.io by 8 a.m. That does take a while. There are submission instructions when you get to that submission page where you've got to upload your game's cover image and screenshots. And then in the description field, do remember to put the name of your game and the StadeShare beta link to your game as well, so that people who are going to vote for it can then play your game straight away in Crayta. Devs like Russ will be around through the weekend, so to offer advice and help folks out if you get stuck to some extent. And if you're on other social media channels like Twitter or Instagram, feel free to use the Made in Crayta hashtag so that we know what you're up to and can share that with other people. Voting begins the moment the deadline for submission ends, and then it runs until Friday, the 28th of August at 8 a.m. BST.
Cool. So yeah, there's quite a lot of information there, and I think all of this information is available on the itch page, isn't it? So
yep.
If people miss this, then as I say, do make sure you head over to that page to get all the sort of the information and sort of the rules, so to speak, around all that sort of stuff. Just looking at chat now, we've got quite a few sort of recommendations and suggestions coming in. So we've seen sci-fi or jungle. Another person saying sci-fi, jungle temple, festival theme, Olympics.
Wow.
Arcade hunt and seek. Some of these are actually really cool, really good suggestions. Mid-century life under the Queen. That's quite specific.
Yeah.
I mean that'd be amazing if that's also what we selected. Who knows? Today I dreamed of this jam. I was creating an alien game. A lot of sci-fi stuff, sci-fi adventure theme. So interesting. This weekend is both a dream and a nightmare. So much building in the next 72 hours ish. Yeah, so I think it'll be quite good. So it's going to be. I'm definitely excited to see kind of what the sort of things people can build over the weekend. And if anyone thinks that a weekend isn't necessarily much time to build a game, it's probably worth pointing out and reminding people. So July's prize fund winner was Bryant Chappelle, who made The Floor is Lava. Actually, The Floor is Lava has been updated a little bit over time, but the original sort of core game that a lot of people really got into and really loved when that was announced was actually made over the course of a weekend as well. So these games, don't take long to make as long as you've got a solid idea, and you can kind of execute that plan properly over the course of a weekend. Then these sorts of things can really be quite special games. They don't necessarily have to be things that get rushed together. So proper planning, that sort of thing, you can make some really, really cool, really popular experiences. So a lot of that planning stuff comes in to sort of obviously the earlier part of the weekend. And as I say, we've got a video at the end that Sean has made, which is a really useful sort of tips and tricks guide to how to sort of run a game jam properly, and how to sort of pace yourself, relax, have fun, plan properly, and all that sort of stuff. So definitely make sure you stick around to the end of the stream to check that out. Let's have a look and see what other people are saying. So if the theme's escape, Prison Break 2 is incoming. This will be great learning experience for all who group up with other creators. So yeah, as we mentioned earlier, it'd be amazing to see plenty of people actually combining their skills. So do make sure you head over and join our Discord, which is discord.gg/Crayta. I think that's going to be the main hub and hive of activity for sort of outside of Crayta, where you can kind of engage with the community the most and find people to come and help you. And as I say, or as Maggie mentioned, devs like myself, I think Adam's going to be around at some point, and I'm sure plenty of others will keep themselves available over the course of this weekend. So if anyone does get stuck or needs help, then do make sure you ask over in one of the help channels. So we've got a specific Lua channel, specific UI help channels. We've got the Ask Anything channel. So do make sure you come over and start asking some of these things to get to make sure that we've got plenty of help and don't get too stuck, because obviously with the shorter time frame you want to be developing and getting on as much as possible. Okay, but just to remind people, obviously we've got this itch.io page, which is where all of the information you can find or what you're going to need over the weekend is there. So if you are looking for submission times, submission dates, and various rules and stuff around that, then obviously do make sure you go check that page out. Right, so I guess you might be thinking at the moment, why should I join this game jam? So we are going to be running a sort of a bit of a prize for the best games. So Maggie, do you want to maybe just divulge a bit of information around how that's going to work?
Prizes, yeah, is that what everyone's excited about?
Yep.
All right, details are over at the itch.io page as well. But basically, every game that's entered in the Crayta Summer Game Jam will be showcased on a rail on Crayta's play page. And the winning games will earn a spot on the featured rail on Saturday the 29th of August evening and Sunday the 30th of August morning.
Cool. So we've got obviously sort of the prizes there, plenty of exposure for your game, and hopefully pretty cool way to get a lot of people playing your game, getting it sort of up on the play page. And then we're also going to be sort of doing a bit of a sort of a charity drive behind this game jam as well. So Maggie, do you want to just maybe tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, for every game that's entered and published, Unit 2 Games will be donating $100 to up to $2,000 to Special Effect, which is a charity that supports gamers with physical disabilities. We previously had the Special Effects Events Coordinator, Becky Frost, on one of our streams, I think back in May, to talk about accessibility and talk about charities work. Along with technology consultant Kirsty McNaught, she gave us some tips on designing games with accessibility in mind. In case that's something you're interested in during the game jam.
Yeah, so I mean they've been obviously an amazing help for us through the development of Crayta, and we obviously like to do what we can to give back. So yeah, we've had some really interesting sort of conversations, especially say with Becky and Kirsty over the course of some of the streams, where we've looked at ways to make games accessible in Crayta and how easy it is to make games accessible in Crayta. So yeah, definitely go, check out the Special Effect website and learn more about them. But yeah, as I say, we'll be donating $100 for every game entered and published, up to a $2,000 cap, which, just an extra reason for you to join in, make a game and get one published.
Yeah, so, you'll be creating for a good cause.
Yeah, exactly. It's more than just the prizes. Obviously, the prizes will be nice, but there's that nice sort of thing there in the background to think about as well. So if everybody watching now, where are we at? We're about a minute left, I think, at this point. So do make sure you head over and register on the itch.io page. Don't forget to do that, because obviously it'll only be eligible if you do register through there. What are we at now? 45 seconds left. So any sort of closing thoughts before we announce this, Maggie?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. Firstly, once you've submitted your game, creators should not update their games on Crayta until the voting period ends on Friday at 8 a.m. Don't accidentally disqualify yourself after your hard work over the weekend. Secondly, get some rest, don't crunch, and have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess just to reiterate that. So once the deadline has passed, do not update your games. We kind of want to obviously keep it as sort of easy as possible to everyone have a sort of fair playing ground with the voting. So yeah, do make sure you don't update those games until the voting closes. And yeah, as sort of Maggie said, do relax, have fun, enjoy yourself, and I think it's time to announce the theme. So I guess drum roll, please. Drum roll in chat. Let's switch back to here. Okay, so the theme for this summer jam is one that I think Adam is going to particularly enjoy, because the theme for this jam is Ambush Adam. Okay, so a little bit cryptic, and obviously you can take that however you like. So kind of as game jams go, it's really up to you how you decipher that, and it's really up to you what sort of game you create with that. But the theme is Ambush Adam. Okay, I'm just going to show you a little clip of a stream we did recently, which might just prompt you as to why we've gone along with this theme.
Let's begin. I know where the axes are. I'm going to try and not die. Let that come to a stop, I think. Second one. Oh no, I tried to run it and I can't run it. Right, let's get to Maggie's section. Let's not go near pineapples. Yeah. Oh, wow. Maggie, these flames are so annoying. Oh, I got through it. I don't know how I get through it, but I did. It just came back again. Wait for it to go away. It's gone away. It's back. Sean, your start must be the most frustrating section. Start must be the most frustrating section.
The most frustrating section.
Sean, this looks horrendous. These falling boulders past these rotating things. I've just got to brave it, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay. Oh, I just walked off the back of it. Come on. Let's jump to this one and jump to this one. And then I know there's a platform here. And I made it! Sean, that better be the end of... What was that? Why does something just explode? What's the deal there?
There's a landmine and another axe.
Sean, your section's horrible. Absolutely vile. Oh, yeah. Sean, yours is ridiculous. Wow.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Sean, I hate you slightly more every time I die on your section. Okay, right. I'm over here. No! What? There was a boulder, like, on my head.
Yeah,
It's so frustrating. Oh my god, the boulders. Okay, cool. I'll just do that, because that sounds really, really quite simple. Yeah. That was like the last one.
Respawning.
Russ!
Oh my god!
Okay, Sean.
Oh,
Sean.
Okay, wait.
Sean, I'm across.
Okay, there's a timed explosion.
Sean, it just killed me.
What?
I'm just dying. I'm just standing there and dying. I want to hear. I'm running. There's an axe! You said there were no more!
I said there was an axe.
You didn't say there was...
And an axe.
When did you say there was an axe?
There's a landmine and another axe.
I think I was like
half
a second away.
Okay.
Oh god! Okay, invisible platform. I made it. You can't have an explosion on the invisible platform, Sean. That's ridiculous.
Adam, I get the feeling you're not enjoying this.
I'm hating it. Hating it every second.
Okay, so as you can see, we had quite a lot of fun with Adam in a previous stream. Just a matter of, I think it was probably a couple of weeks ago at this point. But that inspired us to think, obviously those sort of games can be fun, obviously incredibly frustrating for certain people. So what we want to do is we want you to make games that are obviously still fun and people will enjoy playing, but add some sort of, ambush, some sort of frustration factor to it perhaps. So obviously the case in that stream, we were making an obstacle course or an obby, which are kind of inherently supposed to be a little bit tricky, but there's nothing stopping you from running with any of the starter games that we have in Crayta, or starting from scratch and building up your own gameplay entirely. And what we'll do right now is we're going to show you some of the packages that are available in the sort of community tab that might help you along the way and help you to get this sort of game together a bit sooner. So let me just hide these things. We know that's live now. All right, okay. So I'm joined here by Maggie and Sean, and they're just going to, I guess, just make this area look a little bit more exciting, a little bit prettier while I go through and show you some of these packages. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, so no particular rules or theme. I guess just go wild and see what you can come up with, and I'll perhaps sort of make some sort of little sort of obstacle course perhaps. But we are starting from a completely empty game here. So what we'll do is I'll show you how you can use these packages along the way without needing any sort of prior things in place. Cool. If anyone does have any questions, do make sure you ask them in chat now. We've got a few mods in place ready to start answering questions. As I say, or if you do have any questions after the stream, do make sure you head over to our Discord to ask them over there. So what am I looking to do? I am going to jump into the advanced mode. Again, a lot of these packages I'm going to show you can be accessed from the basic mode. It's just a little bit quicker to show on stream if I'm in the advanced mode, but you can, yeah, as I say, you can do these things from the basic mode and set them up also in most cases. So the first thing I want to show you, and again, given the sort of the way that Adam reacted to that previous one, that previous video I just showed, is I'm going to show you how to set up the obstacle course, this sort of obby components. So this is a set of useful components to create fun obstacles. Use the templates as provided, or use the activation timer on entities you want to use as an obstacle. So this kind of comes with some examples which you can just place and use, but it also has this sort of individual components, so you can actually start using those components to build your own obstacles depending on the sort of the game that you're making. All right, okay, so that's installed. Let's have a look at what came with that. If I go to my obby components here, okay, I can see I've got a whole list of various components that came with it. If you're looking for the examples, it'll be any of the ones that are obstacle underscore. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's some rock appearing over there. Okay, so I'm just going to chuck some things down here. So obstacle swinging axe, click and drag that in there, and then straight away we see we've got this swinging axe with the trigger box and all the different various pieces of logic on it that we need to get that to act the way we want. So if I just jump into preview on a new server, so I can leave the guys building in the background, I'll show you just sort of simple install, and sort of dragging that template in is enough to just get that sort of logic working. So you see the axe is lifted up. If I step into this trigger box, that's going to swing down. Okay, so it's not actually going to do anything at the moment because I did start from an empty slate, so I don't have any of the health or respawn logic on the player. But if you have started from something like the obstacle course, or most of the starter games, to be honest, will come with the logic to get this to work. So if you find that you've installed this and it doesn't behave the way you'd expect, I'll show you now how you can set that up. Okay, so what we're going to need is a couple more packages from the community tab. So first, let's have a look at the health package. Okay, so this is an official Crayta package. And again, this is the package that does come with some of the starter games. So as to say, you might find this axe behaves how you'd expect it to straight away. If not, we install the health package and have a look at what that comes with. Okay, hopefully you can sort of see that just over my head. Okay, so we get a health widget and a health script. Then we also get this player health sort of template script folder. What we need to do is we need to navigate to our player template and just click and drag that over there. Okay, and now we can see we've got this health bar that will appear on screen and it comes with all the relevant health logic. So max HP, whether the player recovers health. So that's quite a useful tick box. I think not a lot of people have perhaps noticed so far. So if I was to check this, it would actually mean, I think it gives me some more parameters. Yeah. So if I check that, it gives me a few more options here to determine sort of a delay and how much to recover by. So you can actually get players to regen health. Okay, a few other things here to sort of play with, but we're going to leave that at that. So now what we need to do is, with this, if we previewed again, what would happen is the axe would hit us, it would kill the player, but then they would never actually respawn. So we need to go back to the community tab and search. If we just search auto, okay, we should see auto respawn. Okay, and again, this is an official Crayta package that will come with a lot of the starter games. If I install this, okay, and then this time I'm going to go to my user template and have a look at auto respawn, which has come again with a simple script and a template script folder, which I can drag across to the user, and that gives me this. Now there's just a couple of things to set up on here to get it to behave the way we'd expect. So the player template needs to be told where the player template is. So that's in case you've got several different player templates depending on how you want the player to spawn. So this script assumes there's only one, so we'll pick that player template. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to need to do is check this box at the bottom, which will spawn the player when we log in. If you don't tick this, what you might find happens is the camera loads in and there's no player actually appears. So if you leave this unchecked, it'll assume that you've got something somewhere else in your game that's actually going through and spawning the player, which would normally happen in the game script, which again comes with a lot of the starter games. But because we're from an empty slate, we don't have that game script. So we need to make sure we've ticked that to tell the game to spawn as a player when we start. Okay, and there's various other things we can kind of hook into, and we're going to use this on user died a little bit later with the death tracker. Okay, so what we'll do for now, I think I'm ready. If I just go back to preview on my own. Okay, so we can see, you probably can't see just behind me. So if I just hide myself, 1 second. Okay, so behind where I was, we've got this health bar down in the bottom corner now. So if I was to step into this trigger box, okay, and be hit by the axe now, we'll see that's going to take all my health away. But then it will respawn me a couple of seconds later. Okay, so already just with a couple of kind of packages and a few little property selections, we've kind of got the basis for something gameplay wise where we've got this obstacle that will sort of eliminate me as a player. Okay, I'm going to return now. Okay, see this being built here. Looking. So what sort of theme are we going for here, guys? Or is it just to make it up as you go along?
Yeah, just making it up. Having a lot of fun placing voxels down. It's very
Nice.
relaxing.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to sort of define my own little game in this area. So let's assume this is going to be the start. Now I'm going to get my axe, position it over here. Okay, that thing will do. Okay, so what else might we want? So let's say we're going to have to like sort of go around here, sort of parkour around here. So let's look for some sort of obstacle that can sit on this gap. So if we go back to our templates, we can see we've got a few things to play with. Obstacle blast point is what I'm looking for. Okay, so this blast point will essentially, it's using the same activation timer script that all the other ones are. So if you wanted to sort of start crafting your own traps and things, then that's a good script. Have a look at how that works. So you can set sort of random activation delays, random deactivation delays, use the event system to say what's actually going to happen when it activates. So it's a pretty customizable script to really start crafting your own gameplay and experience. Okay, so what makes this one unique is this obstacle blast script. So what happens is when it activates, it will blast from this point. Any players near it will get blasted, and the closer to this you are, the more you'll get blasted and the more damage you will take. And again, we've exposed all the properties that you need, so things like the strength of the blast, how far the actual blast will reach, how much damage it will do, whether it damages. You might want the blast to not damage the player, but just sort of knock them around the level. There's a few different things that you can sort of customize there. Okay, so that one is that in place. I'm just going to leave that there and have a look at another one. So, well, so we've got a timed blocker. This one's quite a fun one. So I'm going to drag that in there. Okay, so let's just put, let's put that there. And yeah, let's leave that there for now. So what this will do is this will actually, again, using the same activation timer script, will activate and deactivate. And the obstacle visibility script is what combines with that to say whether this thing is visible or not. And also whether it includes the collision. And again, that's customizable here in the properties. So you can go and sort of really customize the way that that will work as a trap or a nuisance. Again, it doesn't have to be used as a trap. It could be used as all sorts of different things. But what this will do is this will appear and disappear. So a player will either be able to get past it or will get stopped by it. And then once they get stopped, they get blasted. There's a lot of options in this package to really start combining various elements. Okay, so tell you what I'll do is I'll actually have a quick preview now and show you how those things work. But as I say, do make sure you ask any questions. We've got plenty of mods around to sort of answer questions, so wouldn't want people to sort of not take part if they weren't sure about something, so do make sure you get your questions in now. Right, so I've got my axe here, so let's dodge the axe. Okay, and then I can see I've got this blast that's going off. So it is nudging me back and my health is slowly going down. If I stand right next to it, that's going to blast me really, it's actually going to take me all the way off the level. So see, that's quite a deadly trap. And you can also see the wall in the background there is sort of appearing and disappearing. So quite quickly, I mean in the space of about 15 minutes, we're starting to kind of craft a bit of a game here. So hopefully that's given people an idea of just how quick you can put things together in Crayta. And actually, you know, with an entire weekend to work on something, you can really start to craft some quite detailed, pretty cool games. This looks really nice. This looks really quite tropical over here with the banana trees.
Yeah.
I like it. Feel free to take any of these templates as well as you see them. So these sort of traps and swinging axes and stuff, feel free to just place them around.
Will do.
What else have we got? So falling platform is the next one I was going to show. Okay, so let's say what I might just do is carve a big old hole in the level here. Okay, so let's, oops, a little bit too far there. So using the shape tool, I can just cut out a big box in the level. Okay, and I can use my falling platform template. Okay, so it's kind of does what it says on the tin. It's a falling block, so when you stand on that, it's going to rumble slightly, and then it's going to fall away, and then it'll have a bit of a reset time. So if you had some sort of trap that would need players to sort of traverse kind of several of these blocks, that might be quite an interesting little jump puzzle to create. Or maybe every other one is a one that will disappear, so players get comfortable jumping on blocks and all of a sudden one's going to fall. So quite quick, quite simple game mechanic to throw in there. Okay, so there's some of the things that you can do with this obby package. And so it's a pretty useful little package to sort of craft this experience. But again, obstacle course isn't necessarily what we're looking for. Not that we're not looking for it, but we'd encourage people to really think what sort of gameplay the sort of ambush Adam theme might fit. I'd be interested to see what sort of shooters perhaps people could make sort of based off of that theme, or even like an adventure game, something really different. So it's not necessarily frustration from a sort of death point of view, but maybe there's some interesting adventure style mechanic that we could come up with. That'd be quite an interesting way of kind of having that fun frustration factor. So in that saying, Rush, you forgot the bomb and the axe on the falling platform. Yeah, so Sean, you were kind of the master of the obby, judging by the way that sort of Adam reacted. Yeah. I think reacted is the kind way to your section.
Yeah, I tend to play quite a lot of platformers and obbies, so I tend to make games which are fairly pixel perfect jumps, much to Adam's derision.
It was fun, and hopefully that's born a whole new genre of ambush Adam games. Okay, so what should we look at next? So from that other game that we made, we had a death tracker, and again, it's quite an interesting mechanic to add to something like an obstacle course. Is the idea of having sort of a tracker in the corner so everyone can see how many times certain players have died. This package will also record their best or their lowest number of deaths. So ultimately, they'll be playing your game to try and compete to get the fewest amount of deaths while running the course. So we'll install the death tracker. Okay, if I go back here, so we can see we've got a couple of templates that come with this. We've got death tracker logic and user death tracker. So again, I'm going to go to our user template and then just simply drag that one across to here. And we see again, we get this bit of UI up here, which is our sort of small scoreboard. It's a very simple UI widget. It's not particularly very well dressed or very pretty, so it'd be nice to see if anyone can take this package and apply some sort of artistic skills through the UI HTML editor and come up with some sort of nice ways to show that scoreboard. Same with any of these packages actually. It'd be interesting to see how people can take these packages and really run with them and make their own sort of creations out of them. So Michael's saying, can we use packages or assets we've created previously, or is it all from scratch or Crayta packages? Yeah, as Nat's just said, feel free to add any of your own sort of packages. Obviously, we highly encourage people to sort of create packages all the time. So yeah, it'd be amazing to see what sort of packages you've already got that would work. But obviously, it'd be interesting to see as well what sort of packages people can create out of their games they make this weekend that actually make things useful, whether it's a package to save time in certain areas of code, or if it's packages that it's something that they can kind of find that they'll reuse a lot in the future. But yeah, just to confirm, as Nat's saying, you must start a brand new game. So not to continue any current projects, but the game itself must be brand new. Okay, so we've got our death tracker attached to our user. So let's go back to the world. And what we need now is a place here to sort of run the logic, which will kind of collate all of the user deaths and actually then apply them to the scoreboard. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new script folder under the terrain. I'll just call this death tracker logic. And that I shall add our death tracker logic script. Okay, so not the user death tracker, but the one that's the logic script. Okay, and if I just drag this across, we'll see here. So we've got one property here that we can change, and that's the rate in which the scoreboard refreshes. So the way this script works is it will essentially run a loop every 1 second by default, but you could increase that or decrease that. But 1 second I think is normally more than enough. So the idea is you will run, this loop will run, and what it will do is it will go through all of the users, get their death tracker data, so from that script we've just attached to the user, and then it will update the scoreboard for every user. Okay, so let's go and have a look at what else we might need to do for that. So if we return to our user, okay, we've got a couple of things we want to do in this script. So this script will catch, or kind of needs to be told when a certain player will die. So if I go to the user spawn script, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to make use of this on user died event here. So this is already hooked up to be told when the user has died. So all we need to do now is put our logic across. So if I drag the user death tracker into there, okay, we see it's pulled out our script, and I've also got an on user died in there. So all that's going to do now is basically pass the message along. So when the user spawn is told that the player died, and therefore we need to respawn the player, that's then going to tell the death tracker, oh, by the way, the user's just died, so therefore increment their count by 1. Right, so the final thing we need to do for this package to get it working is to set up a place that is kind of the end of the course essentially, or a place that we can kind of register that they've completed the course. Or it might be that you do it on round end if you're doing a sort of round based game, in which case you would just hook up this through sort of an on round end event. But in this case, obviously we don't have any of that logic in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, let's just take this platform here for now. So I'm just going to drag a trigger onto here. Okay, so I've got this trigger box. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So let's go for sort of 300 cubed. So I know that if a player stands on this, they're going to enter that trigger, and that will be the end of the course. Okay, so firstly, I want to make sure this is for players only. So other entities entering this shouldn't trigger this logic. So on players only, and then just add a quick script. Do what I need. So we'll call this end trigger script. Okay, and let's just open this up here and have a quick look at what we're going to do. So we'll have a new function called onTrigger script. We'll use the entry point, so onTrigger enter. So this is automatically called by the engine when a player, and I know it's a player because of this checkbox, when a player enters this trigger, what we want to do is we want to call a script on the user. So if I just open the user death tracker script, so this is the script that we attach to the user, and we see we've got this function here called onCourseComplete. Okay, and in here, this is where we handle all the logic around when to respawn the player. So let's say player get user enter scripts. Oops. Oh, 1 second. Okay, let's try again. So enter scripts on course complete. Okay, so we're going to send that message to the user, and it should handle everything we need to from there. So I'm going to jump into a solo preview now and just test all that works. Okay, how's everyone doing in chat? Anyone jumped in already? Anyone watching the stream and creating their game already? If anyone's willing to share their kind of thoughts and ideas on what they're going to create, that'd be interesting to sort of get some chat going around what sort of stuff people are planning to build. Okay, and if you can just watch in the top of the screen here, we should see that when killed by this axe, you see that the current next to my name is going on to 1, so that's recorded that I've died 1 time. Okay, and if I can get through this, I'll show you this falling platform now. So if I jump on here, okay, that's going to wobble and then fall away. Assuming I can survive all that, let's get to here. Okay, so I'm standing on the platform that is our end, and you can now see that the score at the top has reset my current deaths to 0, but my record is 1. So I completed the course with 1. If I step back in that now, actually, because it's not reset my position to the start of the level, we should see that my record is now 0 because I re-entered it with an even better score. If I was to return to this trigger box having died several times, the record would remain at 0. Essentially, once a player hits 0, that's the best they can do. I would share if I didn't have 2 pages of ideas to choose from. But, I mean, that's nice to know. At least it's been inspiring enough for that many ideas. Right, so if you did want to reset any of that logic, so any of the sort of records, so if you found a bug perhaps and you wanted to reset everyone's times, then you can use this save version at the top of the user death tracker script. So if you just change that number from what it is to something else, that means it will force the loading stage to basically skip all of the data, load everyone with a default value, and then next time it saves, it will save over. So it is quite destructive, so do make sure you're kind of wanting to make sure that you reset before you do it. But that's just one way that you can nice and quickly just reset everyone's data. Okay, so what is next? So I should probably mention actually at this point, for anyone who's new to Crayta or is just sort of getting into development in Crayta, packages are a collection of sort of templates and assets that players have used and put into our community tab. All of the things you can see here can be installed into your game, and with that comes the various assets and templates that you can use. So we've seen me use the axe, I've used various scripts and things that have all come sort of through that template system. There's a lot here to pick from. Let's have a look at what we're going to have a look at next. Okay, so rotate and move is another good one. Nice and simple that you can start to play with. So let's have a look at placing something. This map's looking really nice, by the way, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, I really like it. Okay, so let's have a look for a mesh. So some sort of mesh to have a little play around with. Let's go for the boulder. Okay, let's drag the boulder in. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this boulder move around and perhaps turn it into some sort of obstacle for the player that if they touch it, they die. And all that we have to do for that is quite straightforward. We go to the community tab once again, and if you just search rotate, you should see the top result come back as rotate and move. And there's a few different versions of this script. I think people have made their own. I can see one here that's called random positioning of items. So that might be quite a fun one to use. Random position of items sounds like it could be quite a frustrating mechanic. So rotate and move. And again, this is an official Crayta package. Let's install that one. All I can say is Adam won't win my game. So yeah, I'm really interested to see kind of just maybe watch Adam play through a lot of these games. I think it'll be quite a fun stream at some point. Right, so let's have a look at our scripts, or I guess our templates, and let's see what came with that, if anything. No, I think it's just the script that comes with this package. Let's just check. Rotate and move comes with the rotate and move script. Yeah, so just that. So if I drag that down into the properties window, see again, I get a whole list of properties that I can now play with to change the way that this boulder moves and behaves. So time is how long is it going to take to complete this. Pause, so each end of its movement or rotation, how long will it pause for. Where it's going to end up and where it's going to sort of rotate to, giving it start point, so from where it is now to its end, and from its sort of current rotation to an end rotation. And then this bounce option, so bounce will basically reverse the operation. So if you had a movement end and a bounce on it, it would basically almost like a patrol, it would go backwards and forwards. Same with rotation, you could get it to sort of rotate halfway around and swing back. So really depending on what you're trying to achieve, there's a lot of options there to sort of play with that. Let's get this boulder to move. So if it's 750, 0, okay, so let's say it's going to move minus 750 in that axis there. Okay, and this is quite a good one to use the simulation option with actually. So if I simulate this now, we should see what's going to happen with that script, because that's really actually quite slow. So let's go and decrease the time. Let's say it's going to take 2 seconds instead, and simulate again. You can see that's a little bit quicker. Well, I might want to bounce it. Okay, so now it's going to bounce between the 2 points. Okay, and just for a bit more of an aesthetic, if we say 360 on that, there we get straight away you get like a nice sort of rolling boulder look. It's rotate in a couple of different axes, so it's going all over the place. I'm going to keep that as that. It's worth noting if you did want to move this now, you'd have to stop simulating because the gizmo won't actually move the entity if it's simulating. Let's move this sort of a bit more in the way of my obstacle course. Okay, and finally, a really quick way to make this sort of a lethal thing for the players is to look for our death collision script. Okay, and you'll see it's actually already installed. You can see just above my head here it says installed. So the reason this is already installed is our OBI components package that we installed at the beginning of this sort of section of the stream already kind of has a dependency on this package. So because things like the axe use the script involved here, it's already pulled it in. If you find it's already installed, don't panic. It just means that something else you've installed needed this package as well, so it did that for you. Okay, and what that package will give is a couple of different things. So it'll give a death obstacle. Okay, and you might recognize these from the OBI starter game. But these are just essentially a voxel mesh that you can sort of collide with and it will kill the player. But all we want to use at the moment is just the script that comes with that. If I click and drag that down to my boulder. Okay, got a couple of options here for what we're going to say. So what we want to do is, okay, so the death message in this case is what is the player who was hit by this going to see. So the message will simply be, you were hit by a big rock. Yep. Okay.
Very good.
I'm really imaginative. You can say it's sort of getting late on a Friday. That's the best I can come up with. So other death message is what message are the other players in the game going to see. So if you imagine your notifications come up, obviously only the player that was hit by the boulder wants to see the message that says you, whereas everyone else wants to see the name of the person. The way to achieve that, and you can dive into the code to look a little bit more at how this works, but we format the text given the name of the player that hit the rock. So to put their name in, you want to use two curly braces with name in the middle. Okay, so that will basically sort of swap that whole little bit of text with the actual name of the player that was hit. And then the rest of the message will be, was hit by a big rock. Okay, so I'm just going to jump and have a look now at our logic. Okay, so I can see my boulders there spinning around in the background. Try and get past this wall. Oh, and the blast just knocked me straight off the map again. Okay, current death 1. Right. I might cheat a little bit and just get around that this way. Okay, so we can see if I touch this now, it's gone through me and that's eliminated the player and it should respawn me. But we'll notice that I didn't see any messages. So again, if you've created from a lot of the starter games, there's a good chance you've got the notifications package already installed. If not, if again you're working from an empty slate or a starter game that doesn't come with that, what you need to do is go to the community tab once again, have a look for notifications. Okay, and again, this is a Crayta official package. So I install that, and much like we've done with a lot of the other ones, it's quite straightforward to install. So if I just look notifications, okay, and again it just comes with a simple a script and a widget, and then this sort of user notifications script folder. If I add that to my user, so just click and drag on there, we should see if I just look up, it might be a bit clearer. Okay, so we've got this shout message in the center of the screen, and then our notifications down the side. And there's nothing left to touch with that. You know, we simply just need to drop that onto the user. And if I go back, we should start seeing some messages appear down the side. Okay, so you can see that it says you got sliced, which is a classic Adam message, I think. And similarly, if I go and find my my rock to get hit by again. Okay, and you can see it says at the side, you were hit by a big rock. Excellent. Right, let's jump back. So if anyone in chat has any sort of packages or anything they'd like to see me do, we're going to be running for about 5 more minutes. So if there's anything else you'd like to see us sort of demonstrate or explain, then do shout out in chat now. What else can I have a look at? So again, this looks really nice. And it wouldn't be a Maggie creation if there wasn't some sort of island of meat somewhere.
It was cheese, and then I just got bored.
No, it's cool. It's definitely interesting. So I mean, say hopefully this is sort of giving people an idea of kind of how quickly things can get thrown together. So this map and the logic I've got there, obviously a lot of it is predetermined logic. So there's a lot of wiggle room there to really customize it and even sort of dive into the code and start changing things around yourself. But here we can see that we've got the sort of various traps. We've got the respawn and health logic. We've got the tracker that will count the number of times players have died. We've got the terrain and sort of the level itself, which is looking like really quite cool for just over half an hour's work. So just to reiterate a few points, as we said, the sort of game jam is now live, so do make sure you head over and start sort of getting your games together, and make sure you head over to the itch page to actually register. So only sort of people that are registered through that system will be eligible for any of the prizes. So do make sure you go and do that. As Nat's just put a comment into chat as well, so don't forget to check out the Medium blog post all about the jam, and there's lots of useful resources in there. So one thing actually I forgot to mention, if anyone who watched Wednesday's stream, you'll have seen Adam and I run through our game design doc that we kind of quite like to use to flesh out ideas. So do make sure you sort of check out those sorts of resources that we've got available, and really kind of have a good plan in place before you sort of knuckle down and get too far into your game and find yourself getting stuck. So also Wednesday's stream is archived and it's there on the channel for you to go and watch. So do make sure you head over and watch that. What time is it? So a couple minutes to go. So I think what I'll do is I'll wrap up now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video that Sean's made. It's a really useful, really quite cool video. So do make sure you stick around to watch that to get some useful tips and tricks around game jams. So thanks again, Sean and Maggie. Map looks great, and thanks Maggie for helping out with the sort of the hype building and all that information at the start.
No problem.
Cool. Okay, so we'll be wrapping up in a moment, and I'll sort of play this video out before we end the stream. So just to again, so the game jam is live and the theme is Ambush Adam. Again, you can take that however you'd like. It's not necessarily about building an obby. It could be any of the sort of starter games or any sort of custom game using sort of from an empty slate. So do let your imaginations go wild. I'm really excited to see what sort of stuff people make over the course of the weekend. Highly recommend at this point you go and join our Discord channel. So that's discord.gg/Crayta. A great place to find other players to collaborate with, to play test with, to debug with, and generally just to hang out. A few of us devs are going to make sure we're available at various points over the weekend to help. So if you do have any questions, make sure you use the channels over there to get that help. We'd hate to see people not finish a project just because they were stuck on something. So it'd be amazing if you joined over on Discord to get all the help you need. I would say, or just generally hang out. We're quite a friendly bunch. Make sure you also join our Twitter and Instagram for all the sort of future updates and things. So that's at Crayta Game on both those platforms. We're also on Reddit, so r/Crayta. It's a great place to keep up with a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world of Crayta. And then finally, make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube. So we've got a lot of sort of live streams that have kind of got in the bag. So there's plenty of things to go check out. So if you are stuck on various things and you can't get to Discord for any reason, do check out the archived streams that we've got. And there's a good chance we've covered the topic or perhaps answered your question along the way with one of those. And again, just to reiterate that this Wednesday just gone, me and Adam made a sort of a bit of a masterclass on game design. So if you're a bit stuck for how to sort of get the ball rolling, do make sure you check out Wednesday's stream and the game design doc that we made available off the back of that, which you should be able to find through the blog post, I imagine. If not, maybe join Discord, and all that information is over on that page. So that's it from me. I think make sure you have fun, make sure you rest plenty over the weekend. Don't crunch, but do enjoy yourselves and team up where possible. And I'm looking forward to see what sort of things you all create. So hopefully I'll speak to some of you over the course of the weekend. But for now, here's Sean with a lot of useful tips and tricks to get you started.
So you want to take part in a game jam? Whether you've taken part in game jams before or are new to them entirely, this will give you an overview of what they are, why you should do them, and tips for taking part. Game jams are essentially a timed development session. Similar to our Crayta streams, where we create a game in a couple of hours, game jams task you with taking an idea from game to reality in a fixed amount of time. Typically, game jams last between 48 and 72 hours over a weekend, but can vary drastically from 1 hour to several months. The point of these time constraints is to encourage efficient creation. So, why do them? Game jams are great for taking an idea you've had for a while and quickly making it into a playable prototype. And you might prefer to work on this idea by yourself, but you'll often find it much easier and a more social experience to build with others. Crayta is great for collaborating as a team, as you can all be working on different parts of a game at the same time, can quickly test, and get multiple people's feedback instantly. With these time constraints, you'll hopefully go from an idea to an actual playable game at the end of it, which is a great way to realize a game concept and build a portfolio. Because you are building to a fixed time limit, you quickly learn how to effectively manage your time, be it limiting how long you spend working on a particular feature, or how long you wait until you start testing. Game jams are great for making you value your own and your team's time. Perhaps most importantly, game jams are great for developing and improving your game creation skills, whether they are hard skills like coding and art, or soft skills like scoping, design, and management. If you choose to work in a team, having only a short amount of time to build a game together will give you and your team valuable experience in working closely together, managing each other's times and skills, as well as effective communication and teamwork. And of course, they're fun. Going into them, game jams can look like a lot of work, but ultimately, the point is to enjoy the process of learning and creation, with the bonus of having something tangible at the end. So, what advice do we have for taking part in a game jam? Well, first off, the biggest reason why game jams wind up without a finished project is because of scope. It is very easy at the beginning of a game jam to let your imagination run wild and think of all the mechanics, gameplay, and exciting things you want in your game to have. But everything takes time. The best advice I can give you is to take whatever you scope and halve it. Figure out the core components that you need for this game to be functional and cut out everything else. Maybe you wanted 5 different mechanics, cut it down to 3. So now you'll have this distilled scope with all the extra stuff cut off. But you're still probably not going to get all of that into your game, so cut it in half again. Have just one mechanic, but focus on making it great. Cut off the other levels and focus on making just the one you have decent. You can expand later if you have time, but for now, focus on just the literal core of your game and nothing extra. Once you've got your scope and idea, it is very tempting to just jump in and start building. But as Benjamin Franklin once said, failure to plan is planning to fail. Grab a copy of our game design document template, or just get a piece of paper and think. What exactly is your game? How do you win? What causes you to lose? For your core mechanic, what exactly do you need to do? What code needs writing? What assets need building? Who will do each of these things? Ask yourself all of these questions and make sure you know the answers before even starting to create, and I guarantee you'll have a much better time. Leading on from these sage pieces of advice, focus on getting the core gameplay loop as quickly as possible. You can make things look polished and nicer later, but get a prototype as soon as possible. Instead of building a nice looking temple, just use a giant cube with bits cut out so you can get a sense of the scale, flow and visuals without much time investment. If your game involves winning by reaching a goal, get that goal in and a gameplay loop of starting, winning, ending and resetting. Using one of our starter templates will give you a core gameplay loop straight away and will make this process much easier. When creating, you can get invested and stuck on specific bits. Maybe trying to work out how to code a particular mechanic but keep hitting problems, or maybe you want to get the visuals of your world just right, but with such a limited amount of time, you need to manage it carefully. Set yourself a schedule. Maybe spend an hour max on designing, 2 hours on building that particular feature. If you find yourself still working after that time limit, stop and move on to the next thing if you can. This way, you won't accidentally end up spending all of your time on a single thing at the expense of the rest of your game. Playtest early and regularly. If you're focused on getting your core gameplay loop running, you can get your team, friends or family to play your game and find bugs, get their feedback on what works and what doesn't, and help you make a better game. Rest. Game jams can be stressful and feel like a lot of work, but you need to have fun and just take breaks. Grab a cup of coffee, go for a walk, or watch an episode on Netflix. Just take time to unwind and relax, or you'll burn yourself out, which is not fun or helpful. Ask for help. It can be frustrating to be stuck on a particular coding issue or run into troubles whilst building your world. The community is here to help you. Join our Discord at discord.gg/Crayta and ask questions, help, or anything, no matter how trivial you think it is. Game jams are great for building a game idea into a real thing, but sometimes you're not able to finish your game in time, and that is okay. Having a working game at the end is just a bonus, but you've still got all the skills, experience you gained during the jam. Remember, it is about the journey, not the destination. With these bits of advice, we hope you have a great time taking part in one of our game jams. Remember to rest, relax, and have fun building games. Good luck.